Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations with me, Christin Ewald, and my beautiful guest, Kelly Larsen Lightworker, and Paul Wyrostek. He just told me how to say his name. I hope I got it. I'm just going to get them on the show today. We did have to reschedule from last time. And I'm going to get them on here and say, welcome, you guys. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Let me just introduce you to Kelly. Kelly is a heart-centered and enlightened transformational health coach. And may I just read your introduction? What sets her apart from the rest of the wellness coaches is that Kelly is also a Master Lightworker Practitioner. And in her words, a Lightworker Practitioner is someone who promotes health through love and positivity, which is she's just overwhelmingly good at.
Oh, thank you.
Spreading her light in that sort of sense. She will impact your life in a fierce and positive way, and she encourages personal empowerment, awareness, behavioral and habit changes that will enhance your life mentally, emotionally, and physically. The whole deal. And together she will remove and uncover emotional and limiting beliefs, and they will show in your physical body when those blocks are cleared. Wow, Kelly, powerful work you're doing.
Thank you.
And Paul is our spiritual and intuitive healer. So he has found his journey through seeing energies and more of the darkness side of it first before he got attuned with masters and light beings. And it's now for 10 years a spiritual teacher and intuitive healer. Let me get this right. And is channeling and hold on for 10 years and spiritual teacher and intuitive healer who is channeling light and healing to many to increase awareness of truth and to reconnect people to the higher selves. Wow, welcome you two. I have
thank you, Christin. This is awesome.
Enlightened healers on our page today. How are you guys? Let me just also say, sorry?
Vibrations are high, feeling great, feeling
That's
positive.
Right.
You're looking great.
Through that eclipse.
We all came out the other side, obviously.
That was a rough 3 weeks leading up to that. I'll tell you what.
I'm also
to that. We had a healing session together, and I was a complete mess the whole time he was balancing and realigning my chakras, and I was bawling my face off, and it felt awesome.
That's what happens.
It was an amazing healing for sure.
Who did that? Sorry,
Paul. I had a healing session with Paul last week.
Oh, awesome. What does it look like? Tell us.
It was great. We did a chakra clearing and balancing, and he removed some blocks that I had. There was one specifically around my third eye, and then another one around my sacral chakra, and it was a real powerful experience.
Michelle just says as well, she's passionate about connecting with her higher self as well, Paul. Awesome. Yay.
It's a thing. People are awakening and they're getting into this stuff, and all connected to a specific healing grid in one way or another with our higher selves, and lights are being turned on, and people are abilities are kicking in, interest in this is kicking in, and people experiences, they're starting to experience enough things in their lives to where the scale is tipping. So it's a perfect time to be in on this. We're all kind of pioneers of our time, of how, you know, how we are coming up with our own modalities, finding our own way, our own individual way, is creating paths for all the new.
Right.
I love that. And I noticed also through all sorts of ages, like I had also like lots of teenagers coming to me as well, who are questioning and, you know, digging deeper than the usual. So it's very interesting to see that it's really through all different types of ages as well.
That's right.
When you connect with your higher self, like what do you do? How do you guide people to get to connect with their higher selves again?
It all depends on each individual as far as what level they're at, as far as their understanding or their awakening. But it really all boils down to love. It boils down to and healing. You know, we have to go through the wreckage of our past and to find that light within us, to heal, to open up our heart center and to find love within us. That's the key, is to heal and find ourselves, to find our center, to come in from the storm, to come in from the blame, the shame, the guilt, and to be ready to move this stuff. And once we start to release this stuff and we start to let go and we bring healing to the ego and self-love and self-worth, these are all the keys to this coming in. But through, you know, when I'm with clients, through easy guided meditations, to where I'm working with universal oneness, I'm working with angels and masters and my higher self and the client's higher self. So through this process, this light energy, this knowledge, knows how to get through to each individual person. So it's about clearing the blocks between the crown chakra and the higher self, for example. And it's a step-by-step process. It's like layers of an onion. So, yeah, you know, once we've awakened and once we're on that path and we've accepted it, that we're light workers and that passion fires up, that we want to go forward and pursue it, it's a step-by-step process. So we can understand and grasp it and release things. It has to be released in stages so that, you know, we're not just complete emotional wrecks because too much came out. You know, if all of our trauma came out in one shot, we'd be in a mental institution. It's a series of removing energy and taking in light, and remove, take in. We scoop across our path like that. So it's a great experience to be able to do this for people and to watch their growth. You know, is amazing.
It can be quite confronting to let the light in. I feel like I had this experience when I finished my master's, and then all of a sudden I integrated this in a big way, I felt like. And once this light really entered my being, I was like, whoa, this is seriously burning some of the dark stuff away right now. Like you can really feel that from the inside lightening up. That was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Like Kelly was saying, how she was feeling the emotions is because a lot of the stuff that's in us can't just conveniently and easily be removed. A lot of it can, but there's certain things in order for us to overcome it, we have to walk through the fire, which means as the emotions leave, we have to feel it one last time, talk about it to the light, and then just as we experienced it, it leaves us. And that's why we came into this body. We came to this earth so we can walk through on our free will and free choice in the physical body these things that we come here to overcome. You know, we're like little kids really, and we want to do it ourselves. And then we get here and it's too scary. And then, you know, our higher selves are like the parents that talk to us. It's going to be okay. Keep walking.
Yeah, ultimately there's like this 10-year-old child that's leading us around, and we're supposed to be having this adult experience, except when we react to certain things, our emotions come up and it's our 10-year-old child reacting to our adult situations. So And like Paul was saying, your higher self kicks in and goes, okay, just settle down. You know, don't.
Your 10-year-old, find the
Okay.
There's like multiple layers of children, I feel like, to be honest. Like, I have an inner teenager that can be very rebellious, and I thought, if I can raise myself, and if I can get that sorted and under control, sort of thing, I swear I'll be fine with my children. Like, that's how I imagine it, or at least compassionate enough to understand. Hey.
Yeah, a lot of inner child work coming up recently, especially for me and for some of my clients as well.
Okay.
Working through a lot of inner child. I've been doing my inner child meditation at least one time a day for the last couple of weeks. There's all this emotion that's being processed and shifted has to do with my inner child. You know, around a lot of things are coming up around rejection and not feeling worthy and good enough. You know, I went my entire life thinking I was this like self-confident, high self-esteem individual. And once I was able to differentiate between self-esteem and self-confidence, I was like, oh, okay, now it's becoming clear to me. I've always had high self-esteem, but the confidence wasn't always there. And so I'm working on that as well right now a lot. You know, feeling worthy, showing myself, stepping up, showing up every day. And, you know, Monday last week, I was thrown in the towel. I was crying. I wasn't doing this anymore. I was terrible at it. I'm not doing it anymore. This work was for nothing. And that's it. I was through. I felt like a crazy person. And then the next day I'm like, okay, what time is it? I'm ready to see my clients. Like, you just never know. It's inner work, and personal development is just, it's a continual process on a daily basis. Even us as light workers, we all do it, even though we're also helping our clients and other people and friends and family members through all of these emotional blocks and mental blocks. It's continual. It's daily, every day for the rest of our lives. We're always going to have to do inner work. It's just, and I love it. I'm passionate about inner work and personal development. I'm obsessed with my personal development, and I'm obsessed with your personal development.
That's why I invited you to, because I saw how much of a fan you are of Paul, and I thought Enlightened Conversations would be something where I can get them both together. I was like, how awesome would that be?
I'm trying to keep it under wraps. I'm trying to be, you know, my inner teenager wants to come out and be like, oh, I'm just gonna keep it cool.
Yeah, the present for Kelly's inner child to play now. Let her out.
You know, it's really important too. There's the inner child and there's the inner teenager, right? There's the different levels of ourselves, and it's not about it's about not just healing them, but that inner teenager and inner child never leaves us. It never changes. So it's how we can get them to, to the adult, in the adult. And we've had to grow up so fast, and we had to conform to the things that, everything that made us uncomfortable and everything that our social system wanted us to be. Like, we had to pick something, we couldn't just be ourselves. No way. We couldn't be ourselves. We had to pick a thing. We're going to be a fireman. We're going to be a drug addict. We're going to be an astronaut. We kind of have to go for something, stumble and fall a whole bunch of times, and then, and become something that we're not. Well, the whole awakening process is realizing that we're not who we thought we were, that we were kind of like playing a role. And then it breaks down. And then now it's surprise, you're an adult, and your inner teenager and your inner child has never been able to truly come out and play. So here's the beauty about it, is that we are now able to heal and integrate all that together. So we're literally, that saying, like, if I could be your age again and know what I know now.
Know what I know now.
That's what's happening. Universal Oneness will never screw us over and say, well, you missed out on that. So we get to be the adults. We get to start over. Yet the inner child and the inner teenager in with the adult, now we get to experience all those things. We get to experience the brand newness again of everything. And that brings in the childlike quality. And now we get to start over. We're like 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds walking into school for the first time. And we have to learn how, once we break down all these issues, we have to learn how to be social again. So we're just like a bunch of babbling little kids in adult bodies, and it's fun. It's brand new. It's refreshing.
It is. Michelle just says, "Oh, Kelly, did you just say I look gorgeous today?" Did you just comment down there?
Yes, I did. I am commenting and reading comments on my computer while we're on the phone.
Thank you.
All worked out this time.
I love the light as well you're sitting in. That looks awesome. And Michelle says, yes, it's good to be able to differentiate our inner child from higher self.
Yeah.
And I feel like that too, because the more inner work I do and the more I integrate, the more I do feel like I'm actually like a big kid. It's like, I thought I should like feel like an adult kind of thing, but it does feel like, you know, you're getting out to play, you're learning again, like you're feeling kind of like, yeah, naked and vulnerable in this new world. Like, how do I act? How do I speak? Like, what do I say? It's really, it's full of learning again. Like, okay, so here I am, 30 years old. I don't know anything again. Let's figure it all out again.
And I find that on the other end of the spectrum, on that just to touch on the inner child work for a minute, I have a lot of clients that aren't in touch with their inner child at all. Like the inner child's been neglected and rejected for 30 years, you know, you know, someone will come to me and they'll say, well, you know, how come I'm miserable? I have a great job. I work full time. I'm supporting my family. I have a wonderful husband, but I just feel stuck and, you know, I'm in a rut. And I'm like, well, what do you do for fun? You know, my first question is all about self-love and self-connection. I think that's going to be my branding. I'm going to call myself the self-love and self-connection mindset coach. Because it seems to be like that's the people I'm attracting, and that's wonderful because I love to talk about that, how to get people connected into, you know, connected again. And a lot of times when people are lonely, it's due to a lack of connection to yourself. So I'll ask them what they do on a daily basis that provides them some type of fun for a little while, at least 20 or 30 minutes each day. Do something that brings you joy. And they're like, oh, I guess I don't. I go to work and then I come home and make dinner and spend time with my kids before they have to go to bed. And then I try and connect with my husband, and then it's off to bed, and tomorrow the same thing again. And I'm like, that's why you're not happy, is because you're not finding any joy for yourself in your life. So connecting with our inner child is also extremely important.
Yes,
get out there and have fun
to let it come out.
Come out and play.
Yeah, there's like a lot that's coming through, because when I say like about the work I'm doing, it's a lot. Because Tammy just says as well, the system is set up that we have to become something and successful and squash our passion. But then, first of all, I think we can take the joy in with us in every moment, wherever we are, even if it's at work. And then it is a lot about, I think, conditioning the way we grow up. As Paul said earlier, you have to become a fireman, or you have to be this, or you have to be that, or you have to be this.
Right.
Well, if we would teach people to connect with themselves first, and then from there go and educate them along the path that they choose to live or want to educate themselves in, that would be something I'm passionate about. But at the same time, I feel like also the way we have it today still is also helping us to do the shifts we are experiencing now. Because if we wouldn't have been conditioned, we wouldn't have get bored and somehow half dead until we finally question everything that is there. That, well, I do have the job, I do have the family, I do have the life. Why am I not happy? Why am I feeling dead and lonely and everything?
What's missing?
So grateful for this system, to be honest. And I feel like also the other thing that came through is it doesn't matter which age, because sometimes I feel like people say, oh, you can be so happy that you experience this now in your 30s. I had to wait until I was 65 to get it. But I think this awakening stage is always worth it. Like, I don't think anyone I know who is on this journey of awakening and connecting with themselves regrets that they have woken up. Like, even if they go through challenges like breakups and facing all this stuff that's not always pretty or easy, but they're all happy that they get to live a life of free will and choice, and create their passionate life. with joy. Be, do, become, Tammy says. Be, do, become. It's like an as above, so below kind of thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we're awakening to our own, you know, what we can handle, what we can blend into, what we can understand. And, you know, there's so many different levels of awakening. There's so many different, you know, we're always awakening to different levels. We're always, each day we're students. We're brand new at it. And if we come into the energy of our higher selves every day, that we're students and clear, you know, being open to learn, that each day, every single moment, we're experiencing an opportunity to grow, to shift. And that free will and free choice thing is pretty intense, because at any moment, the ego wants to step up and say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Or the inner child will step up and say, you know, connected to the ego, I don't want to do this anymore today. So there's this inner battle that goes on. And I think a huge misconception to light workers and empaths, people that are awakening, is you know, you're never going to be just enlightened and you're going to be, you know, floating on a rainbow for the rest of your life. We're going to flip people off. We're going to scream. We're going to yell. We're going to lose our minds. We're going to mess. We're going to over exaggerate. We're going to overcompensate. We're going to trip, and we're going to fall. And once you understand, no matter how evolved somebody is, they're in the same spot. We're all in the same spot, you know, together, trying to find our way. So amazing process that we're all in on.
I can relate to that. At the same time, I feel like the more work you do, and especially like we work in the Lightworker Practitioner thing with the principles, I feel like the more you practice those principles like joy and love and peace, the easier it gets to handle those emotions. Like you always have something coming. Even if you step up, you're like, oh no, I'm going to be seen, I don't want to be seen. Like then there's another fear that you didn't know about. But in general, I feel like you become stronger in traveling that through and dealing with it the more you learn. Like what would have upset me in the past is now like, all right, I don't need to do that anymore, because I know that that's just energy that's shifting through, and I'm just going to lean back and soften and, you know, do certain things that help me travel that through. That said, I do throw tantrums occasionally. Like, you know, I'm not free of those moments, and especially of those moments where you just don't know anymore how to do anything, like parenting or your job or this whole spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Right.
You are master.
Monday.
Life will find a convenient way to push us to that point until we lose it, because a lot of times we'll just keep our composure. We'll just keep on going, but we have to let go. We have to break at times. We have, or we won't grow. We won't grow. So it's this, instead of just this easy flow, we find ourselves crashing into a wall, scaling up, getting to the next level, resting, healing, run into the wall. It's like steps until until we realize the process, and then it's like just floating on a raft going down a river, enjoying the sun, enjoying the day, while letting life just work itself out. The wisdom, of you're either going to sit in the vehicle and go down the road, or you're going to get dragged behind the vehicle. Either way, you're going down the road. So, how do you want to do it?
Yeah.
And then open-minded and willing to do what we're guided to do and grow at our own pace, and accept that it's important to accept where we are now and not push ourselves to feel or do more. And sometimes if I'm having a bad day or I'm feeling melancholy, there's always that feeling that comes up. Well, why am I feeling like this? You start judging how you're feeling. And just to acceptance, acceptance is key.
And that's where I feel like now, like that open heart comes in as well, and just, compassion for us and our journey. And when I think about me and the vehicles I used to move forward, it's like sometimes on rollerblades, trying to juggle it all. That kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, where's my joystick? Like, do I drive a German car or I drive an Australian car? So I had to adjust to that for me personally, being from Germany, like one foot in this country, one foot in that. Until some other people come along your journey and pull your head out and say, like, look, this is where you are. You're falling right now. You're doing this right now. I'm like, oh, is that what I'm doing? Well, thanks for shedding light on this. Like, just cruising around. And that's amazing. That's what I really love as well. People supporting and having each other's back.
Right. And it's like Tammy wrote, life is not linear. Like you said, 1 foot in Germany, 1 foot in Australia. And that's like, whoa, that's too much. Like, that's now 2 parallels at the same time. But then the awakening to the idea that it's not linear, that it's everything is happening at the exact same time everywhere, and we're all connected. It just blows our mind. And then, but being in the now is key. And I found, not only with clients, but my own work, is you can only be in every now. That's it. And right now is a new now. And right now is a new now. So if we can pull, of course we have to plan for the future, and we have to, okay, and see what we did in the past and kind of recover from that. But we want to be, the more we can be in the now, the more we can pull love into the now, the more we can be fully present in the now, is what shifts everything else around us. It's what creates our future. If where a lot of us come from like source energy, or from other evolving dimensions and places, everything is like instantaneous. It comes like instantaneous. There isn't even manifesting, there isn't even speaking, there isn't even telepathy, because it's so instantaneous. It's just a sense of knowing. And where we come from the light, we are so fully embodied with ourselves that there's no synchronicities. Everything is just perfect all the time. Everything's right where it's meant to be all the time. And that would probably be called heaven, on one sense, So we come from that place, and we come here. We crash into this earth, this low, heavy, dense energy planet, and we're still trying to navigate by our instincts of what we're taught. So, like, the fact that I have to move muscles to speak irritates me from time to time, because it's like, are you kidding me? Like, you just don't know this? Like, why are we even speaking right now? So I kind of remember that, then the languages that we have are absolutely horrible to really express the words of source energy, of unconditional love, of all of the knowledge, of all the unity. Being in the now, anything else is overwhelming except for being in the now. And people like me, I was never in the now. It was always in the future, and I'll be happy then, right? Or when I find this type of relationship, I'll be happy. Or when I find this job, or when this job comes, I'll be happy. Or when I get this house, I'll be happy. And you'll never be happy then.
Right.
And I had to learn the hard way. So once we can be in the now, which I still look back and I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but to be able to just fully be present in the now is the key to everything just coming to you.
Yep.
And to be in the centeredness of your higher self, and to be in loving yourself 100%. That's why it's a path. It's really, really, really difficult. But once you can ride that and surf that energy, stay on top of the wave, then you get it. That's when you attract everything that you're vibrating at. So if you're vibrating in the energy of love and the intent of connecting to your higher self, you've automatically opened yourself up to your divine purpose. So your passions will awaken. The right people will just show up into your life, the right opportunities. So you can just enjoy floating down the river because you don't have to worry about that job because you already have that perfect job.
Mm.
But the ego wants to kick in and say, no,
No.
easy. You know, that can't work like that. I have to have a problem with that.
Yeah, I have
No
to have
pain, no gain.
a
So
problem.
then there's the fight with, between you and the ego, and it's just like, shut up. I love
I love you, but shut up.
Go to bed. Go lay down.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful process we're all stumbling around on.
We do have the perfect job, especially the three of us. I am passionate about serving others and helping people heal emotionally and promoting personal empowerment, awareness, and behavioral changes that will enhance another person's life. And when you actually see the shift that happens right before your very eyes, it is so rewarding and it brings me so much joy.
Yeah, very powerful. When they come back transformed, you can just see them. It's like they're more of themselves.
Right.
More bodies, they're more shining, they're happier.
They've embodied their worth and like their love and their soul and their, connection with themselves and their spirit. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I am so happy to have been guided down this path. I can't even tell you.
Absolutely. And, there's a couple different stages that light workers go through. There's healing people because it makes you feel good. And then it fills up a void of all the problems that we've gone through in the past. And that only lasts so long. And then it doesn't work anymore because it's pretty much like a substance or a drug or a distraction. But, that's when universal oneness, as we grow on our healing path, universal oneness is giving constantly. So we can be doing this for a living, helping all these people, but we're going to run into that brick wall if there's anything inside us that isn't healed, because we have to be whole, right? Love ourselves. Then when we're bringing that healing to others, now there's no tug of war of energy or codependency or anything like that. It's just pure truth. Then we shoot to entire next levels. So
I love that, because the moment we do that within ourselves, we attract the people that have that block, and then we can heal them as well.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we can't give from an empty cup if we're not doing our own inner work. And I've noticed oftentimes we attract the people that have some of the healing that we need to do inside too. I'll say something to somebody and I'll go ding, 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 ding. Like, I needed to hear that too. Yeah,
I was just going to say that our clients are our teachers.
Yep.
Time and time again, we'll be going through something. Our life will be a mess. Yep. Then we get into centered with our higher selves, and magically done. The client's experience I'd be channeling, bringing traumas, healing to traumas that the client has that have surfaced within me. So, we're all connected. We're all connected in one way, shape, or form. So the more light workers are, or empaths that are healing, that are coming to healing, we're all healing together. So it's just this big bundle of mass consciousness.
Yeah, Michelle just said as well, we often think the manifestation is physical. We are peaceful in the present moment. If we are peaceful in the present moment, then that is what we've manifested.
Right.
That's so true. Like, this is like the whole ego thing as well, isn't it? Oh, I don't have this job yet, and I don't have the relationship. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, okay, in that moment, let's just be peaceful again and bring us back to center. Boom, like already manifested. Kind of like that already manifested. You know how you said before, like, I already have the job, I already have the relationship.
It's so hard for some people, then real life kicks in. To some people, I'll call it the real life kicks in, and then Paul, like, really, bills need to be paid and this and that. No, when you can fully let go, and what happens is a lot of times people will have these breakdowns, these massive breakdowns, and then once they break down and they say, you know what, forget about everything. Who cares? I don't even care. Everything just comes to them. So
Yeah.
the illusion that the breakdown is what caused it, and it's no, it was there all the time. You just wouldn't get out of your own way. And a lot of times the heart's closed. The heart's actually closed due to hurt, due to shutting down and getting into the real world. And the heart needs to break. It literally needs to break at times in order to open, because we've created such prison cells around our hearts that we won't let it in ourselves. So something will happen that'll really shatter us, and then we're open to receive love, and then we're open to grow forward. Again, it's that smash.
Yeah.
You know,
Constantly. I agree. That's what so much I had just coming through. Like there's so much that's coming through, because I read earlier someone said something about success, and it's either success or love or something, but we can, the passion. It's either success or find our passion, but we can actually have passion with our success. Like if you create everything, you can, whatever you believe can come true. So if you want to be successful being passionate, whereas actually if you come from a place where you follow your passion, most of the time success will be kind of like the result of it, because it doesn't really matter if you are successful or not, does it? You just do what you love. Therefore you attract people that can support you in doing what you love, so it feels successful. Does that make sense?
that's right.
So yeah, you don't just like, I think that the message is really, don't let your want to be successful stop you from stepping into passion.
Right.
And the other thing is, that's probably similar, is, if you have a choice and people are afraid to follow their passion or afraid to do what they feel like they love doing because of what they learned or because they don't see anyone else around doing this. And then sometimes they look at people who do it, but they are so shiny and they have more money and they are older and they have whatever the story is. The moment you follow your heart, like even if you might lose that job, like in that moment, because you stood up for what you believe in and what feels right to you, there will be something opening up that matches your vibration. So the universe is not like, oh, now you lost your job, now you created emptiness. Like that's just not how it works. The moment you do, choose you, the universe says, all right, there you go. Now she's vibrating here, loving herself more. How about we meet her with these opportunities? Yeah, and then you get to decide and create from there. Breaking the belief that if we follow our passion, then we can't be successful. Yeah, if we believe we can, it's true, and if we believe we can't, it's true too. Exactly. So you can just.
That's right, and a lot of times when we go to follow our passion, a lot of times we experience that a lot of things fall apart.
Darling.
Things fall apart, it's because those things aren't meant to be in our lives anyway. So we correlate, wow, every time I go to do my passion, things fall apart. So I guess that's not meant for me. And it's like, no, when you're going for your passion, well, guess what? I'm sorry, but that partner you may be with is not in vibration with your passion, so that has to fall away. Or if I wanted to channel for people for a living, I had to break out of that day job thing. So every time I reached to become, make that leap of faith to be a full-time channeler, bills would back up. There'd be no money for Christmas. There'd be all these things, and it was this it's real easy to say no. So, but when you have that passion there, and you step up to universal oneness and the angels and the masters, and you say, I'm not stopping. Like I'm going to get this no matter what. Fearlessly. Once we let go of the fear, we see who truly supports us. We can see who doesn't support us. So next thing you know, people are leaving or people are judging. Then we want to back down and not do it anymore. So not many people, it's like salmon swimming upstream, I guess. It's like, Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do it on your own, and you have to do it without caring about what anybody else thinks, not even your own ego, and just keep going into that passion. And a lot of empaths and light workers have had really difficult lifetimes, very lonely, very empty, and blessing of this, because when you have that sort of life, have is your imagination and your dreams, right? You've already lived an essence of, I don't have anything anyway because everything just keeps falling apart, but my passions. So it's kind of ends up being a big help on the path that, you know, I'm staying with me. Everything else has fallen away. The only thing left, still the passion. So once we could fall back into that and say, you know what, I'm going, and not a lot of people can do that, or they can do it up to their own level within this lifetime. So, but to really break through and to get to the top of this whole light movement, it's, you know, it's dedicating your entire life to it, and not caring what anybody thinks. And almost everybody in your life can fall away, and you know, it's up to each and every one of us to, you know, step forward. I mean, look what Jesus went through. So that was back in that day. So we don't have it as hard as Jesus. So you know, we may get made fun of, but that's about it.
I went my whole life searching for connection, like the connection I feel now that I have inside. You know, I can unabashedly say I am working from my consciousness center, and that resides in my heart. And I went, you know, I'm 38. I went all my life searching for something. Like I always felt like there was something missing. So I'm hanging out at bars and I'm drinking too much and I'm trying to meet people and there's no real connection. Well, that's because there was no real connection inside. And last year, once that problem was removed out of my life, all of a sudden I felt this beautiful connection inside. It was like sheer divine intervention.
Yeah, how easy it is all of a sudden to have relationships and talk to people, isn't it? When you do the inner work and then call in the love, place of love. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. At first, all the toxicity had to be removed out of my life, and it was removed for me, and it just effortlessly, things fell away that no longer served me, that were not healthy, and it was effortless, and I am extremely grateful. It was divine intervention for sure that led me down this path, and the connection I feel to myself inside now is just incredible, and that's what was missing all those years. And I mean, my connection, when I say that, I'm talking about my connection to my higher power and my angels and my spirit guides, and you know, because that kind of stuff wasn't really mentioned in my household. So I didn't know anything about it, you know, any of that spirituality, and there always was something missing, and I was led to it just this last year.
It helps to know that, doesn't it?
Falling in love with ourselves is the key, and it's
right.
It's so hard. I can't believe you know, how difficult it was. But once you accept yourself for who you really are, and what's happened to you, what you've experienced from birth, and accepting that, wow, that was tough, that was bad, that was really bad, and it's okay. And you come in to self-nurture yourself, and to really get together with yourself and say, hey, are you okay? Like, do you realize what you just went through?
Yeah.
Starting a bond like that, to really start talking to yourself and you know, spend that time alone. You know, a lot of meditation isn't just, you know, closing your eyes and imagining, you know, ponies and rainbows and stuff. It's like, it's getting real and talk to yourself. Be alone long enough to scare yourself with your own thoughts, and then talk to yourself about it, instead of running and doing whatever you can to make it comfortable, or the ego of trying to hold all the masks on, you know, that you set up for yourself. And once your arms get tired enough, they're going to fall anyway. And you know, when you have the courage, really, it's not strength, it's courage to embrace yourself and to love yourself, and then to come out as you, completely vulnerable. Confidence shoots through the roof.
Yeah.
Confidence shoots through the roof, and then courage just comes with that, and the connecting with the source. So now you're able to step out and not even care what people think. And the courage and confidence that I received from doing this work for a living is from following my passion, where a lot of people, almost everybody, laughed at me and was like, no, what do you, that's, you can't do that. That, builds up that confidence immensely. And now what I get out of it is when I walk down the road, and normally if somebody was passing me, so awkward that I wouldn't even be able to, especially if my mind was somewhere else, they would say, hey, good morning. And I'd be like, hey, good night, or something, something totally ridiculous or different. Now I find myself more centered, and I will stop and I'll have a conversation with the guy, and I'm finding that, I can be the person that I've never been able to be. And it's the amazingness of self-discovery now. So now it's like, wow, who am I really? I'm a pretty cool guy. And that, right. Okay, well, all right, well, I have these weaknesses, but at least I know, okay, I have those weaknesses and I can't do those things that other people do, and that's okay. And, falling in love with ourselves, embracing the truth is difficult as it can be. And most people will go their entire lives and just choose to not even face it. It's too difficult. It's too hard.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the programming too. All of our lives, society tells us don't be, it's wrong to be selfish and don't be arrogant and don't think nice thoughts about yourself because then you're conceited. And it's like,
right.
No, self-love and self-care is a necessity, not a luxury, and we're just taught the exact opposite all of our lives.
Yes.
So it's hard to, once all of a sudden it's like, well, am I allowed to love myself and spoil myself rotten? It's like, absolutely. That's totally necessary. You have to do that or you're going to be miserable.
Yeah. Taking care of ourselves first. For me, it's also believing what I feel like is right for me, regardless of what everyone else says. I mean, just because you treat yourself like this and you say that about me, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do about what I choose to think about myself or the level of self-worth I place on myself. Like, okay, if even like people in my family say like certain things, I'm like, okay, cool, that's your story, but I can just actually choose a different path here.
Yeah, that's part of your process. Thank you for sharing with me, and
exactly.
Have a good day.
You're not their story. You're not what they say. Just like that's theirs. That's not yours.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we find that no matter what we do, doesn't please anybody anyway. Somebody's going to say something bad anyway, so you might as well be yourself because they're going to make fun of you and they're going to tell you it's wrong and they're, so at least this way. And remember too, we are, guides for other people. So if we're not ourselves, we're stopping the people around us from becoming themselves.
Right. Yeah. We give people permission when we step in our own power and
be childish or be playful. Yeah.
Be vulnerable and authentic. Exactly. Yeah. I had a tough time with that. I've recently just started kind of coming out of my comfort zone with going live and I just decided too this last week. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I am not doing that anymore. You know what? To hell with that old story. That's not my story anymore. I am brilliant and I know it. And I'm going to get on here and tell everybody about it, instead of playing small like I have been all my life. Forget it. I mean, what's all that nonsense? That's just so ridiculous.
You are the perfect person to coach people to believe in themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I get tired of dimming my light. It's very, we're empaths, so we can feel what other people feel like, and we don't want to. We have a really hard problem being ourselves because being ourselves has hurt so many people in our lives that we pull that back. But we have to be in our truths so everybody else can be in their truths.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts somebody. That's, it's just shining, our successes can shine the weaknesses in other people for them to say, hey, that's what you have to do to get here. And keep moving forward, just keep moving forward and not letting these things distract, being in the now more than ever before and letting go of the now that just passed and coming right back into center. So usually, if somebody upset me in the morning, I would have a vendetta against them for like weeks in my head. But now it's instant, now I can just brush that right off, come right back to my center, send them love, light, whatever. That's your stuff. That's not mine. Because when people get upset with us, that's their issue.
Their projections, yeah.
That's how you teach them to, I feel like, probably not everyone, there's, other people out there, but if you can role model how to handle that and to bring it back to love and to yourself, then that's how I feel like often when someone does that, when I have something playing out, I'm like, is that how I can actually own more of myself instead of acting out in that way,
Mm-hmm.
So which comes back to everything like, if you want to change the world, change yourself. Like, go home, love yourself,
become the person you want to attract.
What we just explained and went through, exactly the way you change, the world to become more peaceful, more loving, just by you being more peaceful, you being more loving, you being more centered, you being more present. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, lead by example.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on what Tammy said because truer words have never been spoken. Your opinion of me is none of my business. And that is the truest thing ever. And it sounds abrasive, but it is so true. It's, other people's opinions of us, that's none of our business. That's part of the process, and that's fine. So thank you for that, Tammy. That was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And Michelle said, Michelle said, you should be enlightened journalist for Lightworker Advocate magazine, Kelly and Paul. It requires video footage. I'm in.
Yeah.
I became really used to, I do the 10-minute videos a lot, videos, but I record them on my phone. So before I would go live, I wouldn't even go live. I would just record it on the camera video. And if I didn't like it, all right, I could go back and I could erase it. So we're doing that over a long time. You kind of you just get so comfortable with the video on that it kind of, it feels the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so that's how I found a way of, blending right into it. And that goes for anything. As soon as you hit that record button, we feel we're on the spot. So keep that record button on all the time. Not all the time, but you know what I mean? Keep that record button on to when, and next thing you know, it's just natural. It's just a natural process.
Oh yeah. 4 or 5 months ago, I never would have participated in this. I used to be one of those people that was definitely afraid to get up and speak in front of people because I played so small all of my life.
Right.
I never thought, I always thought I don't have anything smart to say. No one's going to want to hear what I have to say. I don't even have anything to say. What am I going to say if I get up there? And I am even since 8 weeks ago, I am a completely changed person. I don't even recognize myself anymore. Yeah. I would have been a friggin' mess, nervous, sweating to death doing this. And now I feel free. I mean, I had a shift recently. I had a major shift. I processed a bunch of shit, a bunch of fears about everything, talking to people, getting up in front of people, being myself, being authentic, talking in front of a group of people. And I'm just, that fear is not there anymore. It's just gone. I mean, and I am so grateful because being held back like that was painful all of my life. I skipped out. Right. I wouldn't go to school if there was a presentation that we had to do in front of the class. I would not go to school that day because I am not getting up in front of people. I will die first, and at work during my life, during my 20s and 30s, it's debilitating. I feel paralyzed. It makes you sick. to feel like that to all the time, to talk to people and get up and say something in front of someone. It's like, what was that all about? I'm just so glad that's gone. I just processed that and shifted it out. Bam. I got over that fear when I did that live on my personal page about a week ago. And I talked for like 18 minutes too. And I thought it was just going to be like 5 or 6 minutes. I was just going to try and get some stuff out. And then after I got to like 5 or 6 minutes, I didn't want to stop. It became like, I loved it. I'm like, I love doing lives. There's this thing for me.
Right.
Here I am, world.
Or the old you, the real.
Yeah, or my new, whatever it is. I love it.
Sorry, Michelle just gave that hint here on the third eye that I also shared with you guys earlier. You know, connecting with other people through the audience, through their third eye, and then looking into the camera to keep their attention. I think it also helps for them to take in the message. That's what I'm feeling, that it's easier for them to connect, because then they get it like energetically. You know how we talk more than just through speech and hearing? Like there's also the energetic vibration and the message and whatever else we're talking on an energetic level. I think if we actually connect with them that way, they get it on more levels than just hearing the words that you speak. It's like, it's almost like it touches them unconsciously or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, at the end of our 1 hour enlightened conversation, I would like you guys to ask you how people can connect with you. How can people find you? I did actually prepare a link.
Okay, my website is Love Lightworker, all one word, lovelightworker.com.
I'll just put that in here as well.
And my email address, I'll type it in here.
Yep, just in the comment.
Tammy, I wanted to let you know that I will work with you on that if you would like to work with me on releasing that fear, because I can't tell you how debilitating and paralyzing it was for me all of my entire life up until just a couple of weeks ago. So I know exactly what you are going through. So if you want some advice or suggestions on what I did in order to push past that, you know what I did? I did empty chair dialogue. I'm taking a communication skills course, and it's empty chair dialogue is just exactly like voice dialogue or shadow work, where you actually like face a chair towards yourself and you put your fear or whatever emotion you have going on, that, you know, shame, guilt, fear, sorrow, resentment. So I was dealing with my fear, and I talked to my fear, and I said, you know, I asked it what it had to tell me, you know, and I listened and heard what it had to say, and I accepted it. And then I told my fear that I no longer needed to be protected, and thank you very much for protecting me all of these years, but I got this, you know, like I don't need you anymore. And I kind of like, and I demonstrated that empty chair dialogue on my live video about last week. So if you guys want to go back and watch it, it was brilliant in my opinion. And so I integrated that fear, and as I was doing it, the fear was actually dissipating. It was like going away, and you can actually see it happen in that video. It's like leaving my body. I was no longer scared, and that's when I said I wanted to keep talking. I didn't even want to end that live. I could have talked for an hour. It just like went away, and all of a sudden I was in love with what I was doing. I mean, it was amazing. I felt the shift happen right there.
Okay.
I'll go over that with you.
That's what you were talking about, Tammy, was it? Yeah. You guys could go get together after the show. That would be awesome.
Yeah. This week I have some time. My class is right after this. So I gotta go actually. So it starts at 6:30. I'm gonna be a couple of minutes late. Sorry guys.
Have fun. Anybody can connect to me. It's my last name with a number 1 at gmail.com.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
It was great to talk to you. You too.
Thank you for having me.
Blessings all the way around. And thank you for having me on.
Thank you. It was so nice to connect with you guys. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you for rescheduling. Thank you for joining me. It was amazing. Very enlightening. I learned a lot again. And
I love you both dearly.
Blessings.
Love you guys. Take care. Blessings.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining.